Everyone feels busy. But almost no one feels productive. This is a truth of modern life, a constant hum beneath the surface of our days. This second truth is quieter, a private admission at the end of a long day. You wake up. Before your feet touch the floor, your phone glows with a list of demands, a cascade of emails that arrived overnight, a string of messages from colleagues in different time zones, a calendar so packed with colored blocks it looks like a game of Tetris. The day begins not with a plan, but with a reaction. We have fallen for a great deception. We have come to believe that a full day is a productive day. We measure our worth not by what we produce, but by visible signs. Number of emails sent, hours clocked in, meetings, speed of our replies. This mindset equates activity with achievement. A day can be filled with tasks, responding, forwarding, scheduling, confirming, and yet produce nothing of lasting significance. This is the difference between doing work and doing the work. One of the most corrosive side effects of our culture of busyness is that we never seem to finish anything anymore. Our work lives are defined by a vast and growing collection of almosts. We begin a task with good intentions, diving into the initial phase with energy and focus. But before we can reach a state of deep immersion, an interruption arrives. We tell ourselves it will only take a minute to respond. This single, seemingly harmless act of switching our attention is a critical fracture. When we turn back to the original task, the thread of our thinking is broken. It can take many minutes to regain the previous level of focus. If another interruption doesn't arrive first, we start many things, but bring very few to a state of true closure. This ever-growing pile of the unfinished exerts a heavy psychological toll. Unfinished items linger, creating a persistent hum of anxiety and mental clutter. Our attention is the most valuable currency we possess. It is the raw material from which all meaningful work is forged. It is the raw material from which creative insight is forged. It is the raw material from which deep connection is forged. Yet, we have surrendered control to the indiscriminate tyranny of the notification. Each one is a summons, an external claim on our cognitive space. They treat a social media like with the same urgency as a critical system failure. We have been conditioned to react, check, see, reply. Each time we yield, we allow our agenda to be hijacked. You pay a tax known as attention residue. A quick check can leave residue that lingers for 10 to 15 minutes. Multiplied across a day, it becomes permanent partial attention. In the modern organization, the meeting has become the default tool. Collaboration, communication, decision-making. Calendars are filled with them, serving as evidence that work is happening. Yet so often, meetings create the powerful illusion of motion while producing very little movement. Talking about work feels inherently productive. But talking about work is not the same as doing work. A poorly structured meeting can consume an hour of 10 people's time, 10 hours, only to circle back next week. An entire day of calls ends in exhaustion, listening, nodding, contributing, yet output is absent. The time to execute was consumed by the meetings themselves. Not all meetings are useless. Well-planned, well-facilitated sessions with clear purpose and concrete outcomes align teams and solve problems. Treat meetings as a significant cost, last resort, not first, when the value clearly outweighs the expense of collective attention. The modern workplace has quietly enshrined a new, unspoken virtue: constant availability. There is a pervasive expectation that we should be reachable at all times. A question sent at 8 p.m. deserves a quick reply. A project update on a Saturday morning should be acknowledged. This culture of hyper-responsiveness feels like a professional advantage. It dismantles the essential boundaries between work and the rest of life. There is no clear off switch. Your brain never truly rests, waiting for the next ping or buzz. True rest is a state of mental quiet, crucial for recovery, creative insight, and resilience. When everyone is always available, communication becomes fragmented and less thoughtful, optimized for the sender, not the receiver. To produce real depth, you need long, consolidated blocks without interruption, and the courage to set and communicate boundaries. Everything feels urgent. Very little actually matters. True productivity is not about doing more things. It is about doing more of the right things. Choose the few outcomes that create real value, and protect the time to finish them. Urgency will always knock. Importance must be chosen. Clarity comes from subtraction. Time to think. Time to finish. Time without input. This is where the work that matters actually happens. We don't need more productivity hacks. We need fewer distractions. You trade the illusion of motion for the reality of finishing what matters. If this felt familiar, you're not alone.